Well, hello, everybody. I nearly said good morning, and I forget that we have so many friends joining us from around the world. So welcome wherever you are, and please pop in where you're from, say hello to me and also my lovely friend Nicole, who joins us this morning. How are you, Nicole?
Good. How are you, Leonie?
I'm wonderful. I'm really excited about the topic today. The topic we've got for you guys is sense of change. And what I'd love you to do is, and I know Nicole would too, is to pop down how you feel about change. Some people love it, some people do not love it. How do you feel about it? And maybe share your thoughts on that. The other thing I just want to remind you is what we're here to do today. We love to share wisdom, the wisdom of essential oils. I use the beautiful doTERRA essential oils, as does Nicole in her practice. And Nicole is a medium and a healer. And what we're going to do today is share lots of wisdom around change, but also we're going to draw some oil cards for you. So if you'd like one, please pop a comment in the chat. And also, as I've put in the chat, if you have a question or you'd like some insight from Nicole, which she's brilliant at giving, please ask your question relating to a healing, something about healing. And if you want to pop specifics in there, you can. But if you don't, we love to form relationships with our friends, don't we, Nicole?
We do. It's nice to be part of the journey.
Yes, absolutely. So if you'd like to go deeper on either oil wisdom or anything to do with what you'd like to hear from Nicole, our medium and healer that we have today, please connect with us. The details are in the chat, or just pop a little comment in the chat and we'll reconnect with you later so we can get more personal and go for a deep dive and be really practical and more specific with the oils and the advice we have for you. Mm-hmm. So while we're waiting for people to pop in where they're from, pop in and how you feel about change. Hi, Teresa. Lovely to have you here. Okay, you have to go at 10. We'll make you first cab off the rank today. While I'm just writing these down, Nicole, how do you feel about change?
Change is an interesting topic. Not a lot of people like it because it's shedding a part of your previous self to allow growth and to move forward in life in a different way, but a way that is more right for you. Circumstances change, life changes, and it's just trusting the flow of life. I love change. Look, there's always times, like everybody, we're only human, that you kind of go, no, hang on a minute, that's not what I'm looking for. But it's just trusting where life is taking you and getting into step with it, really, because the more you resist it, the harder everything else becomes. So by allowing it to just go with it and to trust the change, to shed what you need to shed or to learn the lesson that's coming ahead, it's just easier to go with it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. I always love to go for a deep dive into the oils and find which oils will support this particular topic. And I'm really excited to share some with you. But first up, I actually always draw a card for anyone new. Hi, Fiona from Darwin. Oh, bet it's warm up there today. That's interesting that you're from Darwin, because I wanted to talk about something that you will relate to, and we might do that in just a minute. I always like to draw a card for the general collective to start the day. And the card I drew, the oil card, is tangerine. Now, I don't know if any of you on here have tangerine, but it's a beautiful citrus. And tangerine is it's kind of like inviting us to be creative and have spontaneity and bring out that creative aspect of ourselves. And so often we've lost that because we've become stuck and we are resisting the change. And so there's lots of reasons for that. But what this will help is, maybe let go a bit of that overwhelm or that feeling of being stuck and just move more into that, uplifted heart and buoyancy. What our centering thought, because these cards always give us a centering thought about that oil. I am creative. Life is fun. I am open to all possibilities and life is full of joy. And I think you mentioned before about, people fearing change. And I often think of it like the boogeyman under the bed. We can worry all night long about what might be there in the darkness, and we wake up in the morning and there's nothing there. and yet we've wasted that whole time. So I think Tangerine is inviting us to just, let go, be joyful, live in the moment. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, why is my life so fun and full of joy? And it will be when we work out how we can deal with change. So that's that one. Fiona says, I love change. On saying that, I'm blocking changes that I need to make with self at the moment. That's interesting.
Mm.
And Amy from Wollongong, hello. So just before, I know a couple of the girls have to go, because I want to just come back to maybe what we'll do is before we get too much into talking about change, shall we just draw a card for Teresa? Yeah, okay. So I'll draw a card for Teresa, and how we work, guys, is either Nicole will share her wisdom first and then I'll draw a card, or vice versa. And it's always interesting what we come up with. Hi, Nicole. Okay. Teresa, you have the oil of helichrysum, a beautiful oil. Now, with helichrysum, it's a really interesting one. It's part of a lot of our soothing products. So we have a soothing blend for when we've got aches and pains, and helichrysum is there to help with that, dealing with that pain, but also to deal with the regeneration. And so we're letting go of any painful aspects. So Teresa, I'm not sure if there's I do actually know Teresa, so I think this could well be for you, that it's letting go of any sort of trauma that's been going on, and I know you've had quite a bit of sadness around you of late, and just letting you know that you have it within you, the power to overcome, and you have that strength and courage to deal with that sadness. And your centering thought, Teresa, is I am strong and courageous, and I have the ability to overcome all that life throws at me. I believe in the power to heal. I am a powerful creator. And your question for you, Teresa, is, why am I so courageous? And when you ask yourself that, you're going to come up with lots of reasons to support that.
It sounds very interesting. Yes. So for Teresa, I'm feeling a lot of pain in her shoulder, around her collarbones, and it's about expressing her voice and trying to get her breath. And there's a lot, she's holding on to so much that she needs to remember to breathe. And if she's not able to speak what it is, or she doesn't feel strong enough or confident enough, then maybe she should write it down, and then when she is confident enough, learn to actually speak the words. But the main thing is concentrating on her breath, because she's holding everything within her shoulder region, and it's really, really stiff and tight. So for her just to breathe will help the releasing of that process for her.
Lovely. Thanks, Nicole. And when we talk about breathing, I think often that whole stuck energy part of things, when we're resisting change, we almost that might be what we're thinking, but it becomes into the physical, and so we're almost tensing, and our posture changes, so our actual breathing is restricted. And a beautiful blend to bring in there is easy air. It's our respiratory blend. And when you think about the oils that are in easy air, eucalyptus, which is encouraging us to let go of any thoughts that are keeping us stuck in that unwell situation. Peppermint, which is all about flow. Again, as you said, it's trusting in the flow of life. What else have we got in easy air? Lemon just cuts through any of the muck and mire, any of those maybe thoughts, fogginess that's holding us back, or that are resisting change. And another oil in easy air is cardamom, which is really about getting objective and taking back our self-control. So that could be another one to throw in there for Teresa. Teresa says, thank you, Nicole. Very relevant and so much truth. Oh, I love it. We love this, don't we, Nicole? We love it when we can actually connect with you and resonate with you. And guys, if you want to go deeper, just connect with us individually. The details are in there. I just want to in case Fiona has to go anyway, I just want to address Darwin. I have some wonderful memories of Darwin, and one of the things I think about with change is that often we're resisting it, but nature is our advisory board. And if we look around at nature, we can actually get so many indicators about how we can deal with what goes on in life. And Darwin, I have these wonderful memories of storms. And so if you think about how stinking hot it gets up in the territory at times in storm season, and I often think of the Territory as my second home, and there's a reason for that, living on the Queensland Territory border as a kid. But when those sultry storms are there, it's just so heavy, and, you know, nobody wants that to stay the same. And then what happens is there's usually a great storm, which can be quite challenging, particularly if there's a bit of damage or it's, you know, loud noise of thunder and lightning, which I absolutely love. But then we get that beautiful blessing of rain that just refreshes and washes away and brings in that beautiful new state. And so I think, again, if we are people who resist change, take some time to be still and just look at what nature is doing. It's forever changing, isn't it, Nicole?
It is. And sometimes the lessons that we need to learn, if we look close enough, we'll see them within nature as well.
Good point. Good point. I'm just trying to, well, you keep talking, if you like. I'm just scrolling because I hate to miss people's messages, and I just wanted to say hello to Nicole from New Zealand. Welcome. Hi, Nikki. Nikki's back with us. And, yeah, you'd like a card, Nikki? Well, we might do that. Nikki, if you have a question that you want to ask with regard to healing, pop that in there. The more specific you can be, that may help. And hi, Kerry and Melissa. Hello to you too. So we're going to write down Melissa's name because we don't want to miss you. In the changing of the chat, I could miss you. Okay. So, Nikki, do you want me to draw a card first, Nicole?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. Nikki's one of our lovely friends who follows us on here. We love having our friends back because, as we said, we love to get up close and personal with you. Nikki, you've got wintergreen. Yay. Okay, so wintergreen, again, as I said about nature being our advisory board, it can be a wonderful teacher. And wintergreen can teach us to look for the lessons in the pain that we experience, because wintergreen is an amazing analgesic when it comes to whether it's sporting issues or just aches and creaks as you start to chronologically advance through life. So what we're looking here with wintergreen is it can also be about we're controlling. We're a bit too controlling. And I'm saying we, Nikki, because I'm feeling like I relate to this one. So, Nikki, I don't know if there's something that you're just holding on to so tight and trying to control, but it is about surrendering. It is about surrendering to the pain, surrendering to the situation and looking for that lesson within. Your centering thought, I surrender this situation to God. I let go of thinking I have to do it all on my own. I am protected and supported. And your question is, why is it so easy to let go and trust that I'm fully supported? And I just want to pop in here, wintergreen holds a very special place in my heart because I was very fortunate to go on one of the doTERRA trips to wintergreen where we actually served and helped to build a school in an earthquake ravaged area. And it was where our wintergreen farmers are. And I watched them, the women who, you know, go up hills this steep, hang on, where's the camera, this steep, with these big baskets on their back, harvesting the wintergreen. Now, the wintergreen just grows wild and they cut off the branches and it just grows back again. So it's actually very resilient. So I think there's a lesson in that for you there too, Nikki.
No, that's it. Well, there's certainly a lot going on with Nikki's with her stomach and also not trusting her own intuition and wisdom. So I think there's a bit of a problem going on with her left hip and lower back area. But she needs to just start trusting herself and looking to herself for the answers. But if she can just maybe keep her foods a little bit simpler, because what it is that she's eating, whether it's food or even the emotion, it's not sitting well within her gut. So I would suggest just trusting, just, again, breathing through it, because it's all sitting so heavily within her stomach that it's starting to affect her lower back and her hip region. It's already affecting her left hip. So if she could just try and calm herself down, and whether it is reconnecting with nature or an oil that, what was the oil? Wintergreen. And just enabling that release so that she is able to move forward.
Lovely. Nikki's just popped in here, still trying to heal from my carpal tunnel surgery and look for another job. So, yeah, there's a lot you're trying to digest there at once, Nikki. So, in line with what Cole has suggested, I'd suggest you pull out your Digest-N, which I'm pretty sure you have, which is a beautiful blend. And it is all about this fennel, tarragon, anise, ginger, peppermint, all oils in there that will support the digestive system. And quite often when you're overwhelmed and obviously you're healing from that operation, you're looking for another job, there's so much going on, and it's not just in your head, it's affecting your stomach, as Nicole's saying. And the other thing with carpal tunnel, obviously that's why the wintergreen is going to be so appropriate as well, because it is a beautiful oil for soothing pain. So thank you, Nicole. I wanted to share too, just we will come back to the other cards, I've written them down, but I wanted to give you some imagery around change. Excuse me. And I also want to share, Nicole and I were discussing earlier that I generally am the one that comes up with the topics that we discuss, and then we just share our, each individual wisdom. But it's quite interesting, quite often when I start to cough, and Nicole pointed out to me that there's probably some changes that I need to make. And so there's a bit of restriction in my throat. And so what I want to say to you is that it's really important, again, to bring in that objectivity. And, maybe that's where we all could take some cardamom, bring cardamom into your life. I love putting cardamom and ginger and cacao into my cookie recipes. It's really like spicy chocolate biscuits stuff. If that's a good way to get that into you, why not? But so with regard to anything that comes up, it's really good just to sit back and kind of like let go of the emotional judgment around it and just let it sit and take it on board. The imagery I want to give you is a butterfly. Who loves butterflies? I just think, yes, I love butterflies. They're so delicate, they're so strong, they're so beautiful, they're so everything. But many years ago, I learned the lessons behind a butterfly. And I wanted to share that with you. And it's very relevant to change, because a butterfly starts out in a little chrysalis. And in order for it to turn from that rather ordinary looking piece of nature, it has to go through a number of changes. And so it has to cocoon itself away. And so then if you saw that little chrysalis, you saw some movement and you thought, oh, I'll try and help it out, and you got a little pin and you tried to help open it up so it made it easier for it, guess what? You'll probably kill it. Because what happens, in order for that change to happen, it also has to push. And when it pushes, to push out of it, it's actually making the fluid flow along its skeleton. And then when it pushes out, it will sit on a branch for a little while and allow it to dry. And that forms the strength of the skeleton. So you can see why if we help it, we actually make life very difficult for it. It will probably die. And so there, my friends, is the lesson that struggle makes us stronger. So sometimes in that change process, we're going to come up against some difficulties, but it's really worth pushing through. And then the other thing about butterflies is that every single butterfly is unique. There is no two butterflies the same. And just like us, we are all unique, amazing, powerful beings that are put on this earth to blossom and grow. And we deserve that. And then the other thing about butterflies is that most butterflies' lifespan is very, very short. I believe there's one in North Queensland that does last quite a while. But in general, life is short. And so I think for us, that's the lesson that, let's not faff around. Let's just get clear on what we want and trust in the flow of life and make those changes that are necessary for us to be that amazing being we're meant to be. And that kind of flows now, boom, boom, flows into the blend that I wanted to share with you, because this is my fun bit where I get to play witchy poo and make blends. And so if we think about when we want to make a change, particularly, sometimes there's a lot of judgment around. So we might need to cocoon ourselves away for a little while and get really clear on what we want. Because if someone says, oh, that's a silly idea, you might not make that change. So I want to suggest that we're going to bring in On Guard into this blend, which is our oil of protection. It has some of the most powerful immune supporting oils in there, but on an emotional level, it just helps us to set our boundaries. And then I've got Blue Tansy. Blue Tansy is an incredible oil. Not only is it blue, it has a very pungent and an amazing aroma, but it's all about action and inspired action. And so it's really, just helping you to make that change. And then we've got ginger. Ginger's like the warrior woman, just helps us to really, or man, just helps us to find that strength within to carry that change out. And then jasmine. Now, jasmine has a bit of an interesting story. I love the kind of the myths and stories that go behind them. But Cleopatra apparently anointed the sails of her ship with neroli and jasmine before she set off down the Nile to seduce Mark Antony. But anyway, jasmine is very much about just respecting ourselves, respecting and honouring ourselves, and that we are worthy and we are worth the change. And then I love bringing in wild orange, joy bubbles in a bottle. It's the oil of joy and abundance. So if life is short, we need to make sure we are just really getting into life and having the best time and using our talent. So that's my blend for you today, in alignment with the beautiful butterfly who really illustrates how change can be a wonderful thing. And my affirmation for you is, thank you for the winds of change that bring me abundant lessons and blessings. So what do you think of that, Nicole?
I think that's great. It's interesting with your blue tansy, because blue tansy is like for your throat chakra. So it's opening up so that you're able to voice the change that you'd like as well.
Great. Oh, that's good.
In your little blend.
Yeah. And it's so much fun, guys. I really urge you to get your oils out and just play. You can't do anything wrong. It's okay. So if you want more help with that, just connect with me and we'll chat about it. I just want to say hello. Who else? Belinda. Hello, Belinda. Hello, Priscilla. I'm not sure if I said hello to you before. And Teresa loves butterflies and dragonflies. Kerry loves butterflies. Hi, Daphne. Yeah, but isn't it lovely? Because when you're watching a butterfly, you're actually slowing down. You're slowing down, and that's really important in this whole process.
And it's lovely to take note of the colours in their wings. It's pretty magical.
Yeah, that's right. And you're coming more into your senses, which, I love that. When you come into your senses and you're looking for colour, you're listening for sound, we're starting to get more in touch with ourselves and hear our inner voice, and maybe start recognising those changes that we have been avoiding. So I want to just now come to Melissa, because Melissa has asked us for a card, and I'm just going to look for where Melissa is from. I'm not sure where Melissa is from. So Melissa, here is one for you. Another interesting thing when you talked about blue tansy giving us a voice, in On Guard, there's the oil of cloves, and that's very much about, giving our truth a voice.
I'm in love with clothes at the moment. I'm wearing it all the time.
There you go. Some people out there are probably going, oh my God, but it's sometimes when you let go of, again, this is allowing to trust and flow. If an oil pops into your head, just go get it. There's probably a reason for it. If you think you don't like the smell, sit with it for a while. Think about it. What is this? What is it teaching me? And do not discard an oil if you don't like the smell the first time. It's been 10 years and I'm still trying to work out how to love patchouli, but I will get there. But I have found.
Yeah, you mustn't need it just yet.
That's it. Melissa, you have bergamot, my friend. And this is, maybe Melissa, it's time to love on yourself a little bit more, to accept your own virtues, accept your own talents, believe in yourself a little bit more, maybe let go of self-criticism. I mean, we're all so good at that, but this is a time for you to really accept you as you are. And what your centering thought is, I fully and completely accept myself. I stay true to who I am. I give myself permission to be loved. And your question is, why is it I find so much beauty and love within me? So I hope that resonates with you, Melissa.
Yes, Melissa's kind of her shoulders are hunched in. She's very hunched in because I feel like she's hiding. There's a weakness within her solar plexus, just sitting at the top of her stomach. That is that she's not trusting herself, but she's not necessarily liking herself. So if we can just open up her chest, put her shoulders back, and let her feel comfortable in just being herself, I think she'll see the truth there, and that she is worthy. She needs to start loving herself first before others will.
Beautiful, beautiful. Guys, pop in a comment. I know some of you already have. Nikki said, thank you, Nicole and Leonie. Always so spot on. Bless you. Nikki, we love to be of service, so thank you for that feedback. So Melissa, just pop us a comment to let us know how that resonated with you. Nicole, what do you think are some of the reasons that people resist change?
Oh, it's very easy to get back in comfort. It's staying with what we know. What if I change and something else goes wrong or whatever? But what if change happens and things go right? It's one of those things that you have to try. You have to try the change to see if it does resonate with you. If it doesn't, well, that's fine too. But you can then add more wisdom into who you are, and you've opened yourself up to opportunities and choices. So you're kind of broadening your perspective in life and taking the blinkers off, so to speak. So your vision is more of a 180 degrees instead of a limited view. So you're seeing more things that are around you. So because then you're going to be more observant and you're going to notice things, and that might be more opportunities coming your way that you wouldn't necessarily have seen if you'd stayed in that little safe comfort zone or the cocoon. So to open yourself to change, you can do it in a way that keeps you safe if you're fearful of that. But it's really kind of throwing your arms over and trusting life, trusting you will always be okay. Sometimes things might be tougher and a bit more difficult than you had planned, but they're things, by going through that, the old ways will fall away so that the new can come into your life then.
Yeah, beautiful. Whenever I think about letting go and flowing, I think of cypress, and cypress is all about that. It's about motion and flow, and it's about letting go. And I think that so often we're hanging on so tight to control. We've probably got our eyes down, and as you said, we're missing those opportunities. But I told you earlier I love stories about the oils, and there's a story that goes that I have to look at this to be able to pronounce his name. There was, I think he was Greek, Cyparasis, and he had this sacred stag that he used to ride, and he loved the sacred stag. And then one day, accidentally, he killed the sacred stag with his own spear, and he was just bereft. And he pleaded with the god Apollo to be able to let him die so he could be reunited with his stag in the other world. And so what Apollo did was he turned him into a cypress tree so that his roots could go down into the other world, and yet his branches could still reach up and be connected to the god Apollo. And so, cypress is often the symbol for grief and loss, because it actually helps us to let our tears flow. And if we, like anything, if we hold all that pain and emotion within, it suffocates us. And so cypress is very much about letting it flow, and also trusting in the process and embracing the new change in life, because as we see with nature and with cypress trees, any part of nature, nothing stays the same forever. So if you are someone who's a bit of a control freak, and, I could be guilty, Your Honour, cypress is really good to bring into your life to remind you that, it's not all about us making things happen. We need to know what we want and why we want it, and then trust in the process and allow that to flow and welcome change. I mean, sometimes I think if you're resisting change, people just resist, whereas I like to ask questions. Why am I resisting change? I do an Ollie the octopus, guys, circle in the middle, draw off legs. Why am I resisting this change? And just write things down. And sometimes when you actually visually see your reasons, you go, oh, okay. And then another little tip I'd like to give you is just to flip it. So if you're going, well, I'm resisting changing jobs because I might not like it, just flip it. Well, what if I did like it? What if it did pay more money? What if, and just sometimes it's the simplest actions that can bring about the greatest change in our thoughts.
Mm. And the other thing too, so Leonie was, the other thing too is it's like water. You're constantly flowing, and you might be going in the same direction on the river, but some parts of the river branch off. So it gives you another perspective, or whether that's another adventure or opportunity, but it then might join back to the main river. So you just got to trust where it's taking you.
Yeah, that's a really great analogy. Growing up in the outback and being close to the Channel Country, I really, really understand that analogy. I love it. Let's do a card for Kerry. Hello, Kerry. We meet you on here quite often too. It's lovely to see you. Kerry doesn't like change. Okay.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah,
okay. No, I can do. So it's just a small alignment, Kerry, within the base of your spine. So it's allowing you to make changes, because at the moment you're very wary of them. And I think that's because changes that have happened in your life haven't always been ones you've asked for, and they haven't gone as well as you would like them to have gone. So now you kind of sit back and go, no, I don't like any kind of change. So to just make a small alignment change within your root chakra, which is like a survival, it's like survival, will just help you ease more into it. And I would say whether you bring more colours into your life and kind of try to look at things in a different aspect, flip them a little bit, but just to see other ways that you could be viewing them, so that it's not so limiting the way you are looking at everything. And that way change might come into your life, but in a way that doesn't overwhelm you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Kerry, I've picked a card, and it is a beautiful zesty lemon. Now, lemon is such a pungent citrus. I don't think you smelt lemon till you smelt doTERRA's lemon. It is really fresh, and you feel like you just, when sometimes you squeeze a lemon and a bit of that, comes out of the skin and gets you in the eye. It's kind of like that beautiful aroma. But lemon is about clarity. So, maybe with all of this resisting change, there's a lot of confusion going on there, Kerry. So it's about cutting through the fog, cutting through the confusion, giving you clarity about, the changes that possibly are around you that could be taken up. And I think with all citrus is kind of uplifting. And so in a sense, it's going to energize you to actually make that change. Your centering thought is, I'm confident in my capabilities. I create joy as I release the thoughts that weigh me down. So, again, if those thoughts about change being scary or not a good thing, etc., that's kind of like think about a scum on a shower screen. Lemon is fantastic for cutting through that. You don't have to have toxic cleaning products, just use essential oils. But if you think about those sort of toxic thoughts, that fog is in your head, this will just cut through that and help you to regain clarity. And your question is, why is it so easy for me to create joy? Oh, I love lemon. It's quite interesting. We have so many beautiful oils. And when I started, I probably started with about 10, and lemon was one of them. And then you start branching out, and quite often you forget those ones that are just the true and tried and so essential. And so sometimes I'll go back to lemon and I go, oh, I'm so sorry I left you for a while, but and I bring it back into my life and add it to my water again, because I love having it in my water, because again, for that beautiful, refreshing, cleansing aspect of the oils that are so good. And this is where the wisdom of the oils is so powerful, because we don't just use them emotionally, we use them in our food flavoring and to make our water taste better and to help support our overall wellness. And I know you use them in your practice too, don't you, Nicole?
I do, yes. It's the other thing too is it's the oils and nature, it has wisdom. So by putting it on it or putting it in our foods, we're actually accessing the wisdom that is there, so that we can use it in our day-to-day life. So that's why the oils are so good, because it just helps helps us achieve where we need to be.
Yeah, and I love it. I think too on another level is that the oils have the wisdom of being able to interact with our body. And they have this wisdom to be able to go in to do what they need to do with the receptor sites of our cells. And we don't need to tell them. So it's trust. So once you've done your research, and I advise you, if you are using oils, please do your research. You really need to have a high quality oil like these beautiful doTERRA oils. And if you want to know more about that, I'm happy to share that with you. But how powerful is it when I just have it and know that I don't have to direct that oil to where it needs to be in my body. And even when we were talking about Nikki before with the carpal tunnel, that, you know, she may not be able to put that wintergreen directly on that hand. It may still have stitches, etc., but you could just put it on the other hand, or you could put it on the arm, and the oils will travel to where they are needed. They're like on this search and rescue mission, because they're, you know, they actually get into our circulatory system. They get into the cells and they go to where they're needed. How wise is that? And what a great lesson in letting go and just accepting whatever the change is for us.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Okay, so Priscilla. Did we just do Priscilla? No. No, that was Kerry. Sorry, I'm getting about my list. So Priscilla has asked us for a card, and I just want to check, where are you from, Priscilla? Not sure, Priscilla. Oh, New Zealand. Kia ora. I probably pronounced that really, really badly, but I love languages and I love to be able to communicate, even if it's just in one word in that language. When I travelled around the world, I did that. I learned a couple of words from each country if I could, and tried to stumble through. So Priscilla, cilantro. This is an oil that I had a love-hate relationship with. It started off thinking, OMG, what is that? And now I just love it. So interestingly, cilantro is all about releasing and letting go of control as well. And it's all about, it's coming back to what you said, Nicole, it's about trust. So letting go of the worry. And so we want to give you confidence in feeling confident about letting control. And my son said to me once, he said, you know, Mum, he said, letting go of control is actually being in control. And I thought that was really powerful. And it's so true. So out of the mouths of the youngsters. And when we let go and trust in the flow of life, as Nicole said, there's actually so much freedom. And even in that, I can almost feel my shoulders coming up, because it's like it's not, the burden is not all on us. So Priscilla, I hope that is, excuse me, resonating with you. It obviously is with me. And your centering thought is, I create freedom to honor myself and all that I am. I release the need to control. And your question, Priscilla, is, why is it so easy to create a strong and solid foundation? Can I just say, cilantro in hummus is the bomb diggity. It is the best.
Cilantro is a really good herb for getting rid of heavy metals out of our system as well. So I'm feeling a lot of in her, Priscilla's throat. So I'm guessing that there's lots of things that she would like to say that she's really struggling with, and whether it's other people's judgment that she's listening to, she needs to realise that that's their judgment, it's not hers. She needs to follow what is right and true for her and voice what it is, because her voice is her own truth, and her truth is what is right for her. So she needs to start trusting that so that she can move forward, and she really needs to start voicing that, what it is that she's wanting, or what it is that she needs to say, whether it's her opinion in something that she's keeping to herself. But she needs to start really using her voice, and maybe the cilantro will help voicing that a little bit.
And also, if I can just add a couple more based on what you said, Nicole, is that lavender is a great oil to bring in, not only just to calm us, because lavender does, but it's actually just helping to help us see the worth of our words. And so this might be appropriate for you, Priscilla. And also spearmint. Spearmint's a beautiful soft mint. And it's about giving us the courage to speak up. So they could be another couple that you could team up there. Speaking of words, oh my gosh, if there was one area of change I would love to see in the world, is it's with our words. And you and I were talking earlier about busyness. This is a time of the year, guys, where everyone seems to go into this, designated manic stage of, oh, I'm so busy. But, if we stop and thought about it, are we really? Or are we just really just, repeating what we've done before, repeating the words that other people are saying? So, and if we don't like it, we can change. Often our language, words have a biochemical effect on our brain. So I've sort of made this little pact with myself some time back where when I caught myself saying busy, I would change it to I'm busy and I'm really productive. Because I wanted to see it as a positive, not the, oh, I'm so busy kind of thing, because it changes our vibration. Whereas when I added in the productive, I felt, well, this is good. And then I'm busy, but I've planned that I've got the weekend off. So I think if we can, what would you say to that, Nicole, about our changing our language?
Absolutely. I think that's very important, because there's so much what we're told we should be doing now, especially coming up to Christmas, that we're supposed to be really busy and that we're supposed to see everybody we possibly know and every family member before Christmas in these next few weeks. And it's just not possible. So I think we need to start using, as you say, those words that allow us to kind of stop for a minute and go, yes, I would really love to see you, but I'm sorry, I can't do it. Maybe we'll catch up in the new year. I mean, the new year's only a few weeks later anyway, so it's not that important, but it's making things a little bit more simple. Yes. I think. And it doesn't have to be, these multitude of presents and the expense of the presents. What it's supposed to be is a time that we're all coming together, and it's just being in each other's presence and having adventures, whether that is the trip to the beach or the up, for the bushwalk or what it is. So it's just really coming back to what's true and right for you. And that way, it'll just stop the overwhelmingness of now.
Yes. And a couple of things floated into my head with that. I'll say them before they flow on out and I'll forget them. But my son sent me this really great meme the other day, and I can't remember who's. I think might have been Joe Rogan that said it. But he said, right now there's some poor fool sitting by a waterfall without a phone, not really realizing how angry and upset he needs to be. And I thought, isn't that so powerful? Because this is obviously in America, that, we get caught up in everything that's going on around us. But if we strip it away, a lot of it isn't relevant to us, things that we see on Facebook or hear in the media or whatever. But also, we can create our inner peace. We can choose what we allow into our space, into our mind, into our body. And we can take back. That's one area I think we could really take back control over, and that'd be a great change to make. The other oil I just wanted to pop in there for that topic was Aroma Touch. Like when we are feeling so overwhelmed, that's my go-to oil when I'm feeling overwhelmed. It's a beautiful doTERRA blend, and it has cypress in there, which is, we've talked about that. It's got peppermint, which is great for circulation and flow. Marjoram, which is about connections. So if you think about flowing and reaching out, think about that river that Nicole was talking about. It's reaching out. It's putting its fingers out and finding new paths. And that's what we do, reach out to find what those possible changes could bring us. Also basil, which is very good for overwhelm for our adrenals, but it's also the oil of renewal. So, when we've felt burdened by things, well, it's probably a great, reminder we do need to bring about some change. Grapefruit's all about honoring our body, honoring ourselves. And then what was the other one? Lavender. So I've talked about lavender, just that calming, but also voice, giving worth to our words and our inner needs. So that was another oil I popped in there. Let's do a card for Fiona. Hello, Fiona. Fiona's like a groupie. I love it. We love having you on, Fiona. Nikki, I will talk to you privately. Nikki is sensitive to the salicylates in wintergreen. So, yeah, there's definitely some other oils that we could help you with there. So let's have a chat. Okay, so Fiona, you have our beautiful, what we like to call our anti-aging blend, Cellubel. Now, Cellubel is packed full of beautiful oils, but it's very much about maybe you've been a bit discouraged, Fiona. Maybe there's some emotional pain that you've been hanging on to. Well, this is about helping you to transcend all of that and to really make a soul connection, to really heal. And so your centering thought is, I release any darkness that has kept me from fulfilling my purpose and increasing my light within. And your affirmation is, why is it so easy for me to increase my light and raise my vibration?
That's very nice. Well, there's feeling a lot of anxiety with Fiona and not being able to breathe. So it's just a matter of opening up your chest and taking the deep breaths and be concentrating on them and focused on them so that you can then open your airways, and maybe that overwhelmingness that you're feeling will dissipate. So it's really, this anxiety is it's just kind of sitting there very heavy at the moment. So the big thing is opening up. It's just opening up your chest and breathing, and perhaps opening yourself up to other possibilities is what's coming through. So there is some change there that you're perhaps a little bit anxious with. So it's just opening up those other ways that you can go forward in life. There's other options for you that you need to look at instead of the one that you're persevering with and pushing through. There's other easier ways that you can do it, but it just means that you have to make some slight changes or alterations to life.
Beautiful. So, Fiona, with the Cellular, you might want to, excuse me, just roll some over your heart or over your chest area as well. It has frankincense in it, which is the oil of truth. It has sandalwood, which is going to encourage you to listen to the subtle voice of spirit and yourself. So I think you'll enjoy that one, Fiona. Okay, who's next? Well, that's good. I really love it when we can help everyone on the call. We can't always do it. How much time? No, we've got time. That's great. So Avalon, I'm not sure where you're from, Avalon, but I love that name. That's so beautiful.
Beautiful name.
Yeah. I'd love to know the origins of that. I'm very much into words. I probably would have been one of those students that would have loved Latin if they taught it at school, but I did French instead. Okay.
Well, that was who the Lady of the Lake was in the old Arthurian times.
Yes.
Avalon, Lady of the Lake.
So there you go. Avalon, do you live near a lake? I wonder. You have to let us know. So you've drawn cassia. Now, cassia, some of you may not be familiar. It's kind of related to cinnamon. It's actually it's kind of a sweet but hot oil, but it's great for flavouring in your food again, for cookies and things like that. Old Brisbane, and I'm Spanish Irish. Yay! To be sure. My maiden name was Murphy Avalon, so I'm very Irish and very, very proud Australian, but very proud Irish descent. Okay, so this is encouraging you to see your own worth and to be courageous and to let go of any insecurities. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe someone's let you down. Maybe that's sort of rocked your sense of self. But cassia will help you with that courage. And your centering thought is, I create my own experiences and empower myself in living my truth with confidence and self-love. Self-love, Avalon. And your affirmation is, why is it so easy to feel confident and full of love?
Very nice. There's a lot going on this morning with with their lungs, this inability to get deep breaths, and I'm feeling that for Avalon as well at the moment. And it's just a matter of opening herself up, and not so she can take the breaths, but so that she can see other avenues that are there that she's overlooking at the moment. And it's trusting herself and her own intuition that she needs to follow, so that she's able to walk forward. So at the moment, I think it's almost like her feet are holding quite still and almost digging deep so they can hold on to where she is. But she needs to start trusting the flow and just trusting herself, and that she will always make the decisions that are right and true for herself.
Thanks, Nicole. I was just thinking too, another oil, guys, it's really good. See, we are coming up with a lot of this, It's a real lung thing. It's just expanding. Yeah. And, just on a physical level, because I love how we can integrate the oils into our healing process on a physical, emotional, and then, spiritual aspect. And if we look at physical release, thyme is another great oil. We all need more time, but we can definitely use the thyme oil today. And it's all about releasing. So it's a good one if you are having physical respiratory blockages, but also emotional. So it's going to help with gently to release. You're very welcome, Avalon. And so it's about purging is the word that's often used, but in a gentle way. And I think the other aspect of time that I like in relation to what we're talking about change is that in ancient Egypt, time was used for embalming. And so it's kind of like also a lesson there that everything changes, and there's nothing to be fearful of. It's just a process. And the more we can accept that, we're actually going to have happier lives. I'm very enamored at the moment with the lives of the Stoics. And I was reading something the other day, and I thought I'd read it to you, but I won't. But it's about, we're dying. We're already dying because what we had yesterday is gone. So that's gone. So why waste today? Why waste today worrying about and being fearful of the future and fearful of change or fearful of death? Because it's going to happen. Let's live in the moment. Let's just embrace everything that we have at our fingertips and give it a good hard crack. Like just go for it. Not very eloquent, but that's how I feel.
It's like on Kung Fu Panda. I don't know if you've ever seen the show where he says in the first minute, yesterday is in the past, today is the present, and tomorrow is a gift. So it's adapting so that you can use those.
Yeah, beautiful. Melissa, yes, we did do one for you, and the replay. That's lovely. I'm sorry you got a grouchy grandkid there. Do you have essential oils? Lavender is great. Lavender is a wonderful one if you haven't already used it. It's like a Swiss Army knife for mothers. Okay, who were we up to? We were up to Pam. Okay, so let's find some wisdom for Pam. Anyone that's just popped on, if you want to tell us how you feel about change or what's going on in your life, where you're from. Okay, so Pam, we have oregano. So oregano is an interesting one. It's a really, really hot oil. It's a fantastic oil to have on hand if you're not feeling well on a physical level. It's really good at supporting our immune system. But I remember pulling this card for myself once, and I was like, I did not want to accept it. So Pam, just do it. Because it's about releasing the strong will. It's about releasing pride. It's about releasing control. So again, flow, trust in the flow. It's about being flexible. So maybe there's some areas of your life that you're a bit rigid. And I don't mean, when I talk about this, and I don't mean values. I think values are constant, but sometimes we can be a little bit flexible in our way we operate our life. So your centering thought, my friend, is I release my need to control and to always be right. That was the bit that got me. I don't always need to be right. That can't be right. So Pam, have a giggle with me because humour helps everything. I see the value in others and their own individuality. I release the toxic relationships in my life. And the affirmation is, why is it so easy for me to be humble? And Nicole, I don't know what you think about this, but I feel sometimes when we are shocked by a card, maybe there are parts of us that we aren't really aware of. Maybe it's our subconscious playing out.
It is. It's also, there's an aspect of ourselves that we try to kind of hide that from ourselves. So you just keep martyring through. And it's like, no, don't be silly. That's not me. That's not me. I'm not going through that. And it's a denial. And I would say for Pam, there's a lot going on there, and that she needs to start making choices that are right for herself. There's again, there's a bit of anxiety there that's coming about with the changes. But I think if she can overcome those and look at life in a different aspect, so that her views are different, she will see that there's a lot more around her than she realised at first. Her vision is quite tunnelled and limited at the moment, and by opening that up, she'll just see what it is that's really around her. She's got in her mind eye that it's small, but there's a lot. It's greater. There's more people there and more opportunities than she realises. But she just needs to look for them or to see them.
Yeah.
We blindside ourselves a lot of the times because we think it's hard, it's too difficult. So we just kind of stick with this vision and we cut ourselves off from all these other things and opportunities. And really, who does have our back? Who is there for us really? And the ones that aren't, we can let kind of filter off a little bit because they're not serving any purpose for us than just filling our time, and we don't need that.
No. And I think there's so many thoughts just went through my head, and as I started to think, I looked at the clock and went, Leonie, don't do that. Let's do a card for time. I can save that thought for another day. Okay, Pam, we have for you. We have Lavender Peace, one of my all-time favourite oils. So Lavender Peace is a blend of lavender and sandalwood, ylang-ylang, Roman chamomile, all very soothing to the physical structure of the body, but also to the emotions. And so Lavender Peace is really powerful. So Sue, I'm not sure whether there's, you're feeling a bit frustrated or angry at someone or something that's happened. And so this is really about forgiveness and peace for yourself. When we forgive others, it brings peace to ourselves and it allows healing. So your centering thought is, I let go of that which I have no control over. I claim my own power to heal. And your question, why is it so easy to forgive and release my anger?
There's certainly a lot sitting within the top part of her stomach, solar plexus region, and I think there's a lot that she's not trusting herself. There's a lot of wisdom that she's not empowering herself with, and there's a lot going on that she needs to start voicing, and her opinion does matter. It does count, and she needs to understand it and have that confidence that what she has to say is right and true, regardless of what other people think. And I think that will sit better within that stomach region for her once she starts to voice it and it's having that confidence. And just because by making these changes, they will enhance her life, but other people mightn't see it that way, but that is fine as long as she understands that that's their journey, not hers. She is doing things that are right and true for herself.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Nicole. Can you believe it is 10:28? We have 2 minutes, and I wanted to just remind you guys that there is so much power and wisdom in essential oils, and I would love to bless your lives with our beautiful oils if you want to, if you're open to it. So feel free to connect on that level. And I just have to give a big shout out to Nicole. I have regular sessions with Nicole, and she just is wonderful for just keeping me on track and helping me to see insights and ways that I can bring about change. And so, in fact, we need to have another session soon. So we all need keeping on track. We've got to sort out what I need to change. But the other thing I wanted to just remind you of, if you haven't already got a copy of the beautiful spiritual discovery journal that is available through Spiritual Events Directory, do yourself a favor, grab it. It is absolutely beautiful, and it's 12 collaborators. My daughter and myself are too, and it's all different ways of journaling. And when we take the time to be still and cut through the muck and mire and get clear on who we are and what we want, often those fears that are around change just disappear because we're starting to get clarity on where we want to move forward to. I've also got a couple of oil workshops coming up, but if you're if you're interested, just message me later. There's one I'm very practical on using essential oils in outdoor. And then another one where I'm actually doing a workshop on my journaling method in here, which is activating your senses for inspired journaling, but also for an inspired life. So, Nicole, have you got any last minute messages?
I think everyone just needs to simplify life at the moment, concentrating on their breaths, even if they can take 5 minutes at one point in the day to just concentrate on taking deep breaths and just bring yourself back, calm everything down. It's very overwhelming at the moment.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you on here next week at the same time. And maybe those of you on with us today, thank you so much. You can connect with us privately and let us know how you're dealing with your changes. But have a beautiful week, my friends. Thank you so much, Nicole. It's been a blast again, and look forward to next week.
Yes, see you then.
Bye.